What I'm saying, can you hear me now?
Very well, sir.
What I'm saying is the challenge we have, or why our education is not solving our problem, is that for a long period of time, our kind of education prioritizes certification over knowledge for solving real-world problems. In Nigeria and most of the African countries, degrees are treated as endpoints, not tools for social transformation. This is the problem. And again, it's not so easy to say, why are we where we are? But we forget to know, to acknowledge that research in Nigeria and most of African countries is, let me say it's underfunded, with little genuine interest from both government and the private sector to invest in knowledge production and innovation. But then again, many problem-solving research output, and this is where the problem lies now. Many problem-solving research outputs die on the shelf after graduation, either at the level of PGD, at the level of PhD, at the level of PGD, at the level of HND, MSc, BSc. Many problem-solving research outputs die on the shelf after graduation. And this is because we pursue research mainly to earn degrees, not to address social problems or to address social needs. And that is why you see fantastic research that must have explained how to address rural electrification, how to address water scarcity, how to address hygiene. You see, many of this research end up after the student or after the researcher would have graduated. Because for us, the idea of that research, even at the level of PhD, the idea is we don't look at it from the point of solving societal problem. We are looking at it from the point of earning degree. And the moment you earn this degree, you forget about it. Do you understand me? But then again,
Yes, I do, sir.
But then again, in contrast, societies that have advanced in technology, health, education, and innovation, they did so deliberately by funding and supporting research with clear pathways and knowledge, from knowledge to application. What this means is that you see some of this brilliant research, the Nigerian states and most of the African countries do not support research. When you have fantastic idea, it dies in your stomach or it dies in your head because you're never going to have institutions, government or private sector that will say, wait a minute, let's fund this research, Because this is not just you have done one of research. After the research, how do we fund the idea? This is what we need to do. And I want you to know that Africa, for instance, I do not believe Africa does not lack ideas or intellectual capacity. What Africa lacks is support and political will. Research is underfunded or undervalued, largely because governments, do not treat it as a development priority. Let me say, Bishop, whether we like it is so easy to say a university is not producing quality, it's not solving problem. But the question is this: even if you bring idea out of your research to solve societal problem, who is going to give you the grants? Who is going to give you the support? Because no matter how good your idea looks and you don't have the support, you are going to get frustrated. That's what it is. There are fantastic researchers struggling at ABU. There are fantastic researchers struggling at UNILAG, developing innovations. Developing innovation that has to do with the heads, that has to do with technology, that has to do with name it. But they are not getting support. At the end of the day, you get so frustrated. Just imagine the way, even at the level of researchers are struggling to eat. And don't forget, no matter how intelligent you be, survival is the first law of every man. You need to survive before you become a researcher. You need to survive before you become a professor. You need to survive. And I am saying that the difference between our kind of education or our kind of research we do is that in the Western world, when you have a good idea, when you are a good researcher, you get good funding to bring solution. You get good funding from government and individuals, our private sector, that will support your research and ensure that you turn that research to practical solution. We have seen it work in other parts of the world. But in Nigeria, who cares? As little as policy formulation, we don't care because the government cares less. Those who come to public office are not coming to solve any problem. They are coming there for primitive capitalist accumulation. And that's why it is because we see research as a means of getting certificate. That is why at the level of undergraduates, at the level of master's program, at the level of PhD, people pay people to write thesis for them. Are you aware? People pay people to write thesis, to write project, what they call project in undergraduate, because the idea is the person who wants to parade that certificate doesn't care whether he knows anything. The most important thing is that when you call Liberty, you put doctor to my name, or he's a doctor, he's a graduate. That's what matters to them. The intellectual capacity to do that, to bear that name, is none of their business. And again, even those who have demonstrated capacity, even those who have done quality research that can solve social problem, that can solve a whole societal problem, those research are not going to get support because it doesn't end graduating. We need to see government to partner with the university to say, please, we need the best brains. Government need to partner with the university to say, some of your students who have innovative ideas, we need to have them. Let's say for instance, the Nigerian state can decide to establish special university or special institute. What this special institute should do is that at the end of the day, tell universities that we need you to send the best brain, 10, or every university should send 5 or 10 best brains in this university every year. And let those that have good research, so that we'll be able to, when you send them, it's not that if you like, go and send your girlfriend there. But by the time you get to that university and the person did not meet the standard, even if it is a first class, let that institution strip that first class, punish the university for giving first class to somebody who doesn't know anything. So by the time you have that kind of special institutes, then the best brain will be put there, train them again for 2 years or 1 year, then you deploy them, support their research, support their innovation. If you do this kind of thing, in the next 10 to 15 years, Nigeria is going to be a country to reckon with. But what do we do, Bishop? What we do in this part of the country is that by the time you have the best brain, government doesn't care. At the end of the day, when the Western world discovers them, they provide visa and support them. They go abroad and become useful because we really do not care. We really do not care. This is the problem we are having. At the end of the day, you sit in your room and begin to say Nigeria education is nothing, and you are not even providing support for those who are doing well. I do not believe that everybody is a daft. We have a lot of fantastic brains. I have seen a lot of them in universities, in research institutions, in other walks of life. But what kind of support are they getting? This is the conversation we should be having. You don't build society based on optics. You don't build society based on wish. You build society based on deliberate actions and deliberate strategies.